Hello class and welcome to Math Minutes video lesson number 48. This lesson is going to be on arithmetic sequences and our lesson begins on page 13 of your notebook. So let's turn to page 13 and get started. An arithmetic sequence is a list of numbers that changes according to some sort of rule. In this example, each number in the list is increasing by 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, and so forth. Each number in the list is called a term. Each term can be identified with a sub-number like this. So we have a list of terms, and this little sub number 1, 2, 3, 4 is telling us what order that number is in. So if we wanted to talk about a to the 17th, we're talking about the 17th term in this sequence. If we don't know the number, or we're going to use this in a formula, if it's unknown, we're going to use this little sub n, and that's referring to just some number. So let's try and see what we can find out in these sequences. What's next? Meaning we have a pattern and we need to figure out what's next. Well, we're going from 5 to 3 down to 1, then to -1. And hopefully you can see that from 5 to 3, I'm subtracting 2. Let's test it. Am I subtracting 2 to get 1? Yeah, subtracting 2 from that to get -1. So what's my next number going to be? -7 minus 2 is going to be -9. What's the rule? We are subtracting 2. Let's take a look at the next one. From 1 to 7, we're adding 6. 7 plus 6 is 13, plus 6 is 19. So what will my next term be? It's going to be 31 plus 6, which is 37. What is my rule? Plus 6. And let's look at the last one. We're going from 3 to 6 to 9, and it looks like we are adding 3 to each term. So what is my next term going to be? 18 plus 3 is 21. My rule is to add 3. So it's very straightforward, the beginning of that. So let's just do a little more learning about some more terms and a formula. So to find a specific term in an arithmetic sequence requires a first term and also knowing what the change or difference is, or the rule. On the previous page, we had the sequence 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. The rule, or the change or difference, the change was plus 3. And we will now label that change or the rule with the letter D, which will stand for the difference. The specific term we're looking for in this sequence is labeled A to the N. All of this is leading up to this formula right here. An explicit formula is written like this. It's asking us, what is the term going to be? We have to list the first term, then we will substitute in the number term that we're looking for, subtract it by 1, and then multiply it by D, or the difference. So that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense yet. So let's take a look at how we would use this formula to determine what a number is going to be down the line from the sequence. So let's take a look. Let's now write this formula for our example sequence for finding the 12th term. So here's where we're going to plug in these numbers. We are looking, now it's not an n anymore. Okay, it's not n. We know that we're looking for the 12th term. Here's what we're trying to find, the 12th term. What goes here is our first term. Well, in the list that we're looking at, we're using this one up here. Our first term is 3, so that goes here. Now, we're going to, what goes next in our formula is this n. And what is that referring to? It's referring to the number in the sequence that we're looking for. So a 12 is going to go there. So our first term plus the term we're looking for minus 1, and then what goes here is the difference. The difference in this case, in our example, is plus 3. So now we're going to put a 3 here, and we're going to multiply that. So now let's see what we get. Can we find the 12th term in this list? We're going to take 3, and we're going to add. What is 12 minus 1 is 11 times 3. So we get 3 plus, what is 11 times 3? Because we have to do this multiplication. We're not going to add the 3 and the 11, our order of operation. 11 times 3 is 33. So 3 plus 33 is 36. The 12th term in this list, first, second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is the 12th term 36? Let's check and find out. If we're adding 3 to each number, 18 plus 3 will give us 21, plus 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27, plus 3 is 30, plus 3 is 33, and plus 3 is 36. So we indeed did find the 12th term in this list when our difference was a plus 3. Okay, it's all new, so now we get to take some time and do some practicing, so plugging in our numbers into this formula will become a little more familiar. So let's take a look on the next page, 15, and see what we can start with. We want to find the 9th term. You know what, let's do this across the top of your page. A, N equals what? First term plus the term you're looking for minus 1 multiplied by the difference. So what is the nth or the 9th term? That means we're going to find our 9th term. The 9th term equals what? The first term, which is in this sequence 2, plus what's the n? The term number we're looking for is 9 minus 1. What is our difference in this sequence? Let's take a look. 2 down to 0, down to negative 2, negative 4. It looks like we are subtracting 2. That means we're going to multiply by negative 2, and let's see what we get. We get 2 plus 9 minus 1 is 8 times negative 2. What does that equal? 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. 2 plus a negative 16 is negative 14. And let's take a minute to check and see if that is true, our 9th term. First term, second term, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and our 9th term. By going down by 2 for each number, we see that we found negative 14, and negative 14 is indeed the 9th term in this sequence. Let's try number 2. Let's find what our difference is. 4 to 8 to 12 to 16 to 20. Looks like we are adding 4 to each number. So our difference is going to be a positive 4. What is the 20th term? So here we go. A in parentheses 20, because we're trying to find the 20th term. That's what our n is. Our n is 20. What does that equal? It equals our first term. Our first term is 4, and we're going to add that to n minus 1. What's our n in this case? Our n is 20. So it's going to be 20 minus 1 multiplied by the difference. Our difference in this sequence is 4. Let's see what we get. 4 plus 20 minus 1 is 19 times 4. What does that equal? 4 plus, well, let's do this quick. 19 times 4 is 76. 4 plus 76 is 80. Our 20th term will be 80. If you were to list these out, our 20th term is that. Let's take a look at the next one. A to the n. What's our n? 32. We're going to try and find the 32nd term. First term is negative 30 plus n minus 1. What's n? N is 32 in this case. Always minus 1. What's our difference? We didn't find our difference yet. Our difference is, let's see, 30, negative 30, then we're going to negative 25, we're going to negative 20, we're going to negative 15. These numbers are negative, but they're increasing, and it looks like they're increasing by 5, which means we are a positive 5 is our difference. That means we're going to multiply that by 5. Well, let's see what we get. Negative 30 plus 32 minus 1 is 31 times 5. Negative 30 plus 31 times 5. Let's just do that over here. 1 times 5 is 5. That's 155. So what does this equal? Negative 30 plus 155 is 125. Now I'm just doing this arithmetic part quick for you, but if you use a calculator or I'm just doing it fast for you, this is where you thank me. All right. Let's pause for a minute and see, why do we want to use a formula when we can just make a big old list of numbers and count the terms? Well, I really don't want to make a list of 32 terms and add 5 to each one to finally get up to 125. So this is why we're using a formula. And this is actually even going to become more clear in our last example, our last practice problem. So let's look at number 4. What is the 23rd term? Okay, well, 23 is, it's a shorter list than 32, but our 23rd term, but what's our sequence? Oh my goodness, our starting number is 111. What was I thinking? Plus, now what's my n minus 1? My n is 23. And what's my d? The difference. What am I doing? I am from 111 to 115 to 119. I'm adding 4. So my d is 4. So I'm going to multiply that by 4. I don't want to make a list of these big old numbers. 111, 23 minus 1 is 22, and we're going to multiply that by 4. That is 88. 111 plus 88 equals 199. So the 23rd term, if we were to continue this list all the way out to the 23rd term, we would end up with 199. Okay, there's your introduction to arithmetic sequences. Good luck with your homework, and I will see you in class.